All right, so let's go ahead and start because I can tell this interview is going to go really well.
You gonna fall asleep? Yeah.
No, this is laid back.
Yeah. Well, with Terrence, you know it's gonna be laid back.
Everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Under the Scope. I'm your host, Mandis Buckle, alongside co-host.
And Alonso. And today,
we got a great surprise.
Yes, sir.
The most entertaining athlete in the IFBB Professional League today.
Terrence.
Oh, wow. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Man, I'm great every day. Every day I wake up, get to do this for so this is pretty easy. We're Terrence, this is literally we're here in the office. This is the lounge in the office.
Just upstairs the gym.
It's a tough life, huh?
That's pretty nice, actually. Yeah. Nah.
well, if you saw, usually I'm sitting over there at my desk working and Stan and the guys come rolling up after they trained all morning, you know, eating up dishes of food.
Yeah, he knows.
You know how it goes. And so Stan puts on something and sit here watching for a couple hours while he eats squeezes in 4 meals in 2 hours.
Oh, wow. That's pretty nice. I didn't know you had an office above the gym you guys train at. That's real nice.
Yeah, it's about 8,000 square feet.
Oh man, yeah, that's a nice size. Is that you own that building or?
No, I don't own the building yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we got a lot going on. You know, we've got the Underground Athletes team. We've got Maximum Muscle Report doing the coverage, which is why we've got you on. You know, I've got a few other things going on, so it just made sense to have a space upstairs somewhere we're meeting to train every day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you out. Next thing is we've got an artist coming in to paint murals all over the walls.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be badass. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to set up travel, man, but like you know, just trying to see what's going on with all the restrictions and stuff like that. But hopefully I can get around this upcoming year.
Yeah. Open door policy, man. Look, we're 10 minutes from O'Hare, so literally you fly into O'Hare, and when you get off the plane, you can be here in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
Not too complicated.
Yeah.
Once you're trying to go outside, you got more restrictions.
Okay.
There's enough nice hotels and economically feasible hotels that are in walking distance of here. You fly into O'Hare, you take an 8-minute Uber to your hotel and you walk to the gym and here it is. So people come in town and train with us all the time out. So anytime you want to come out, man, you're more than welcome.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound good. I'll probably sometime early next year, I'll look at my calendar and see what I can do.
You got it. But that's enough about us. Let's get to one of the big stories of, man, what an amazing 2020 Olympia. The way they were able to pull this thing off is spectacular. We really didn't miss anything. You know, there was talk about between COVID and who couldn't make it and was there going to be enough athletes to qualify. We heard all that talk all year. We didn't miss anybody. There was a couple guys who had visa issues or whatever, but the cream rises to the top. You guys that are pros came out, had your best physiques, your best showing, and nobody, if they were watching that show, would have said people had a hard time training this year. You did not put that on stage.
Yeah.
Everybody brought an improved physique. This is probably, what was the last Olympia that we can think of where classic physique, 212, open bodybuilding, everybody at the top came back vastly improved, and it was a dogfight.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any, man. I agree, man. Like the most improved athletes all around, man, in every division for sure.
Yeah, that was kind of reminiscing of the '90s when everybody was competitive. Because nowadays, you get a lot of talk coming up to the show about people, how they're gonna do, and then the day of the show, a lot of people kind of miss the mark. But like this year, it was like it felt like everybody just nailed it. Like
Spot on.
yeah,
Spot on. Your whole division, what a top 3 or 4, you guys, top 3, you guys were neck and neck. Look, Chris on, he looks fantastic, but you're the story because, well, I got my foot in my mouth. I said, how do people think that Terrence is going to beat, is going to jump all the way up to the 2 spot? And you sure as hell proved me wrong and everybody else wrong. I'll be the first one to admit it. I had you finishing 3rd.
yeah.
How were you able to make such extreme adjustments? This isn't your 1st or 2nd Olympia, man. You've been here. Is this your 5th?
No, 2nd, 3rd.
I've been I missed last year's, but I've been in every classic physique Olympia except last year's.
Yeah.
16, 17.
This is your 5th. This is your 5th.
4th.
Your 4th or 5th Olympia. So that was a nice jump for you. And you're not the biggest guy, but man, your physique flows like none other. And then that presentation. Is that something that you guys focus on? So when you're looking at your improvements and figuring out how to bring up lagging body parts or body parts that you think you need to make adjustments to, do you think of how to make the adjustments in conjunction with how you're going to present that new added art that you've put on your physique? Or are you just adding to the area and then separately making your posing adjustments once you've seen what you've added?
Yeah, it's the latter. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like when it's my training. Me and Joe Bennett, after every show we take we sit down, we talk, we look at photos, and we actually create a structured program to help me, fix those weaknesses. A lot of people, man, they say they want to fix weaknesses, and it's just really unstructured. Like they say, oh, well, I'm just gonna train harder, or I'm gonna do more of this, and I'm like, you should already be training hard. I mean, there should be no room to train harder. But yeah, we just adjust things like we lower volume. Like my leg training is really, really simple now. My quads, I do 3 sets, a week, and we put all that effort into like, my upper body now. So it's really structured that way. And then as for like the presentation part, I just, after I put on the muscle, I kind of see what, I can do with my physique from that point. I think, of course, my posing has improved, but me just having a better physique also, enhances all the presentation. I'm able to do more poses. More poses look good when I hit them because I have, bigger arms or a bigger back or bigger chest to make them look better. So that's kind of the approach we take.
Yeah. So you work with Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach, and John Meadows, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So how do you so you said you come with your coach and you get together and you elaborate a plan on how you're going to improve weaknesses. So do you stop working some body parts? Like you said, you only do like 3 sets for quads, or do you just prioritize what you're training and address certain areas more than others?
I don't think I'm at a point where I can stop training anything, but no, we definitely, like I said, we prioritize, certain body parts more. So, when I first started, lifting, I was really in the Tom class. So I was doing a lot of quad work, a lot of leg work. And, when I first, hit the pro stage, that was my critique. Oh, his legs look great, but his upper body's way behind. So, we had to kind of switch things up, So even though I like Tom Platz, I like placing better in shows a lot more than doing a lot of leg work, So I do 1 working set on hacks, 1 working set on leg extensions, and 1 working set on like a prowler or lunges, and that's it now. And that's kind of what I do there.
You know, it's an interesting dynamic because for the most part, we know that John Meadows does preps. You know, obviously that's a job. But for the most part, he's known more for his training, and
Yeah.
don't use him for training. You use Joe Bennett for training. So are there times where there might be a difference in opinion on approach? Does that never happen anymore? How long have you been with Joe? How did that interesting dynamic come to fruition?
So that's a good point. Now I was with Matt Porter before I got with John, and Matt was strictly, nutrition for the most part. So after my first pro win in Tampa, Joe was at the show. He reached out to me, and I started working with him while working with Matt. And when Matt passed away, I ended up working with John, and I just continued the relationship I had with Joe Bennett, the same way. And they've met, they've trained together, they've done some, videos together, and so they understand, where each other is coming from. Yeah, some difference in opinion, but they stick to their lane. John doesn't really comment too much on my training. Joe doesn't say anything about nutrition. It's been working well that way for. I've been working with John since August 2019. We've done 3 shows together, and it's been good.
It is very interesting because it's very rare that you can have 2 highly successful coaches who do similar things be able to work together in harmony. That speaks volumes of them, because at the end of the day, their job is to make you better, right?
Yeah.
And not make that a situation. Speaks a lot. It's very similar when Stan came out here. He's with Chris Aceto, and I don't ever dare, cross and get in that lane. I have nothing but the Chris. And so it works out easy. There's not too many situations, though, and too many athletes that can pull that off. Do you find yourself making it a point ever, or is that something that never even has to be talked about anymore?
No, I've never had an issue with it. I've been blessed. Like, both of these guys are, really respectable people, really upstanding, people. It's never been a conversation, never been an issue. When I first got with John, I just let him know, like, hey, I'm working with, Joe. And he's like, okay, cool. And that was it. That was it.
Simple. Yeah. I'm interested to know, like, you're obviously an artist, that's what you're known for, your posing, your presentations. Like, how did you get into bodybuilding? Were you an athlete growing up? Were you like always interested into art, or did the art part come like with your interest in bodybuilding, researching more the old school physique or the art of posing? All this all came together.
Come on, tell the truth, man. You were a breakdancer back in the day.
No, man, I never danced. It's funny. I never was a dancer. I was always shy in that regard. My mom taught like a really specific niche type of dancing. But I never joined in. I just used to watch. She did that for maybe a year or 2 at the church she went to. It's kind of like, it was weird. It's kind of like mind interpretive dance is like what she would teach. But as for me, no, I never danced at all. But no, in high school, I played football. I ran track. I also was an artist as well. I painted. I sold a couple paintings here and there. And the way I got into bodybuilding was I was trying out for Special Forces in the Air Force. It's called TACP. They call close air support for the Army. And I ended up not making it through it. And so while I was waiting for them to give me another job, there was a gym across from my dorm room. And, while I was working like midnight shifts, just sitting down, watching a door, making sure no one's coming in at midnight. So me and the other guy would take turns going to the gym, and I started liking that. I put on a good amount of muscle really quickly. And once I got to my new job, someone was like, you should look into bodybuilding. And, I went down to the grocery store because magazines were still cool back then. And I picked up a magazine, and Dexter Jackson was on the cover. And I'm like, oh, I want to do this. So that's kind of how I got into it.
How old were you when you got into that then?
I was 18, but I didn't do my first show until I was 19.
But you turned pro like pretty young, like 21 or something, no?
21. Yeah, yeah. I had been training for a year and a half. Yeah, yeah.
So it came pretty quickly. So you just like learn from the magazines, or are we like researching it on your own, or did you start working with
Um.
later on once you did your first pro show?
So yeah, I worked with a lot of local people in the beginning. They were really nice. I was a broke kid. I didn't have much money for anything, and I would do like odd jobs, and they would, I would help out however I could, and they would like write my nutrition. And, I did most of my training myself, but I would ask, older and bigger guys in the gym, like, hey, can I train with you? Can I learn from you? So that was the biggest thing. I think the reason why I turned pro so quickly is because, I didn't have an ego. I learned from people who've been there and done that, and it kind of sped up my, route to getting that pro card.
Yeah.
Terrence, the fact that you are definitively the most entertaining IFBB pro today. I mean, let's face it, it speaks volumes. We're even talking about the fitness girls who are athletes in our league like to watch you and talk about your routines and how in sync you are with the music, and people like Cedric and Sergio who are really loyalists to the old school posing. They all tip their cap to you.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of really how much time and effort you put into putting these routines together, so it gives all the other guys an idea. Hey, even if I want to be half as good as the best in the business, what am I looking to do?
When I first started bodybuilding, I spent hours. Like I had to be in there maybe an hour to 2 hours every day after training, because I remember I would get off work. I got off work at like 3, and somehow I wouldn't get home until like 9 p.m. So I knew I was in there a while when I first started, and you know, like doing yard work outside, if you guys can hear that. But in the beginning, I did spend a lot of time. I looked up a lot of pose routines from like Lita Brada, Bob Paris, Kai Green, all these guys, and I kind of say like everyone knows me from like the Toronto routine I did like in 2018, and I think like I had a lot of knowledge about posing, but I didn't have the experience, and that's when everything kind of clicked together. Uh, as I kind of put everything and figured it out, but now I don't spend nearly as much time posing as I did back when I first started. Now I spend maybe, I don't know, maybe an hour a week compared to an hour daily. But the weird thing is now, like after that show, I had a lot of posing clients, and somehow, having all those clients, I developed like a talent to be able to just do stuff in my head and not have to like move my body. I can actually visualize what I want to do and pose to. And I've actually had to do that once. I was like, for guest posing, I was dog sick the entire week. I had a guest posing the week before, so I only had a week to make one, and I made it up all in my head. And it's probably my second favorite routine that I've done. So now with me doing this for so long, I'm able to do stuff a lot quicker just because of how many times I've done it. So now, yeah. I mean, with the routine I did this last time with the for the Olympia, I started working on it maybe like 10 weeks out, but I didn't finish it until the week before the show. I had
right. They kept you. You didn't even finish it on stage. You didn't get the chance to finish it, did you?
Yeah. They cut me short. They told me. I asked them. I was worried because they say we only get 2 minutes, and it was 2.5. But they cut it shorter than that. They cut it at a minute 45. So I don't know. I ended up redoing the routine with my buddy in his warehouse, and I actually just posted it like an hour ago. So it's the full thing.
All right. I'm curious to watch that for sure. Yeah. So I'm curious also to know, like, what else? Everybody knows you need to train, you need to eat, sleep, like those the basics. But how much, like other things do you do? Like how much do you work your flexibility maybe for posing? How much do you do like, deep tissue work, foam rolling, all that kind of things? Do you incorporate that a lot in your, weekly routines?
I'm actually working on doing that a lot more this off season. I have so I'm a little tight in certain areas, like in my shoulder, getting my arm back, twisting and stuff like that. And I want to be able to pose a little better. Like flexibility is important for posing. A lot of people don't realize that, but if you can't get into the poses properly or easily, it could be a pain in the butt. The easiest one I could think of is people, especially in the off season. If you think about it, when people do the side tricep, they have a hard time getting that that arm back there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, flexibility is definitely important. So I've been working on some mobility stuff before and after training every day. I'm also going to be doing like yoga probably twice, 2, 3 times a week. I'm not sure yet. And then I do a lot more. I was listening to a video, a podcast about Jay Cutler doing a lot of deep tissue work one year. I can't remember what year it was, but he said it made a huge difference. So I don't know if I can afford a whole lot, but I know I could probably do at least 2 sessions a week, or at least one or 2 sessions a week. And then if the other days I'll just use like my massage gun I have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that because like that's one thing I picked up also from watching Jay. It's like he always did a lot of like tissue work that allowed him.
Yeah.
So since my early days, I've always incorporated massages like at least once a week.
Well, the stories are too, if you remember, there was some years where his midsection was off centered, where his abs were crooked, and he did some yoga, he did some other therapy, did some dance, and he did some things to actually shift and adjust the balance and symmetry of the core as well. So Jay's always been a student of health and fitness to fit into becoming the best bodybuilder the entire time. He just doesn't talk about all that to everybody all the time. But those of us that, when you get a chance to get his ear, you really hear some interesting stories behind the scene. And when you look at him now, you would never imagine, he was the size he was and doing all the things he needs to, because he looks as healthy and as vibrant as kind of hair, so talk about a fantastic ambassador. What I'm curious about was, what was your mindset truly? What was your mindset coming into this year's Olympia? Because we know all the talk was Breon and Bumstead, Breon and Bumstead, Breon and Bumstead, and you had people in one camp or the other, and they were true to their camp. And that was the conversation. Where was your mindset, and what were you really thinking about coming into this show?
I didn't compete last year at the Olympia. So going into the show, coming in my last placing, I got ninth. I was pretty confident that I would do well. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. I just didn't think I would do, quite as well as I did. I thought I would be anywhere from third to fifth. Obviously, especially after not winning the Arnold, I was like, okay, that kind of lowered my expectations just a little bit. I'm like, well, I need a little bit more work. I need a little bit more time. But I honestly thought third to fifth. I thought, Chris was going to win it. I thought Brian was probably going to be second. And it ended up not not going that way. I talked to Bob at the Superstar seminar, and Bob was telling me it can't. I beat Brian by only just 1 point, and it came down to the night show. So it was really close. It was last minute. So I don't let stuff like that bother me. Like, I can have this idea in my head of where I'm gonna place, but it doesn't affect how hard I train, how I eat, or anything like that. It's just something. In my head.
It's interesting that because I watched the whole show. We watched the whole show, obviously. Prejudging, Breon was ahead, and we talked about it after the finals. Like when him and Bumstead were bumping elbows, they put you in the middle. At first, trying to separate you, and then they called the back double biceps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually tighter, from the back. I don't know if you watched it now, but your hamstring ties in. You were just dry all the way through. When Brian had a couple like skin folds on his glutes, and I think that made the difference. Because your back, you took the year off, you brought up your back, your arm. I mean, Brian's arms are some of the best. So you don't have his arms,
Yeah,
but
best. Yeah.
your body, they don't look small. And your back hangs with him. You guys are similar sizes. You have a gravy
Mhm.
table drier, and I think that's what gave you the edge and got you in that second spot.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
back
I
was
think so too.
improved even from the Arnold. Your back was vastly improved from earlier in the year.
You know, it's funny. I didn't think I was going to improve all that much in between those shows, but especially with everything that was going on, like I had to find, the gyms closed down. I still was able to train. I ended up renting out a storage unit, buying some gym equipment there and training out of there for a while. But and then you got your coaches. It's always hard for me to see certain things, but I had like Joe and John saying, "Oh man, this looks so much better. This looks so much better," and I'm like, I feel like I look the same, but all right. That's all right. That's good news, I guess. I just say, all right. And I just do my thing. But no, I was really happy. I was looking at photos and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I made a lot of improvements, even, like since the Arnold. And it really opened my eyes on, especially everyone, man, especially not just myself, but the amount of improvements Chris made to his back.
Yeah.
Man, it really blew my mind on like how quickly someone can progress. Yeah.
No, definitely, Chris had probably the biggest transformation of everybody this year.
Yeah.
And you beat the great Brian Ansley, who improved. Yeah.
It blew my mind, man. I got a lot of respect for Breon. Even the first year we did our first class physique show together, Prestige. Crystal Felty won that. We went on to the Olympia, and honestly, no disrespect to Danny, I love Danny too, but I thought Breon should have been the winner that year, and he won the 2 other titles, and it's nothing but respect. So yeah, beating him is definitely puts me on cloud 9.
Now that you've done it, you've finished second. What's your mindset like now? Because obviously you're a grounded guy. You've seen what improvements you've made from the Arnold to now. You just said how much you've seen Bumstead make vast improvements as well. Do you have now thoughts of moving forward? Hey, I just passed up Breon. I know he's going to be back, but now I'm second. What do I need to do to go knock out Chris? Or are you just kind of a guy who says, I need to focus on just me, what I need to do. I'm not going to worry about anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's been on my mind these past couple of days.
I bet.
In my head. Because I think about like, oh, you got all these other guys, and I'm a fan of bodybuilding, so all these guys, I see these guys, I'm like, man, he looks good, he looks good, he looks good. And I'm not crazy. I know, just like Breon, someone puts it together, they could possibly beat me. But the same is true for me beating Chris. Personally, I came to the conclusion of I don't need to worry about anybody else. It doesn't help me in any way. Thinking about what Chris is doing, what Breon's doing. I'm just going to focus on myself, train hard, and keep my eye on that Olympia title and not on a particular person. Yeah.
I think that's very smart of you, because it's the main mistake we've seen in the sport is people chasing other people and getting out of their lane. Like aesthetic guys like Flex Twitter chasing size, who trying to be doing, or that's been a recurring mistake for most people. And I think when you focus on what your strengths are, like Sean did in 18, aesthetic and really come condition, and that's what really brings you to your best physique and eventually to the win.
So what do you think you need to do to take the title? Because obviously we need to work on now.
I think it's really simple, man. It's been the same thing that I've always needed. I just need to, come in a little bit bigger. I want a little bit more size. in the right places, hamstring, arms, and definitely if I could come in even a little bit sharper, I would be happy. But yeah, just coming in bigger and but maintaining my waist and my shape and everything like that is I think that's all I need to do. I've beaten Chris once before, so I always believe like something's been done in the past, it can be done again. And,
rivalry. In sports, it's never a rivalry till each side has won at least once, right?
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
So sure. I mean, yeah. So I definitely think it's possible. And even like, because even before the show, I knew it was possible. I just thought it would take, a little longer for me to get to this spot here. So it just pushes up the timetable a bit.
How many pounds are you still away from your limit?
Yeah. So that was a lot. I weighed in at 173, and I can be 180. So it's a lot of room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your coach has got to be ecstatic about that, knowing a lot more than they can play with. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it much.
Yeah.
Going forward, you can improve whatever.
It's always funny. People ask me, "Oh, you're gonna do 212? Do 212?" I was like, "Man, I'm not even close to reaching my weight limit for classic yet." So, no, I'm really excited because we got a lot of space to make improvements. We don't have to worry about making way too much. So it's definitely this, and I've never had this much time to kind of like get ready for a competition. So at first I was thinking before the show, I was thinking I'll do I'll probably do Arnold, I'll probably do New York, but afterwards, placing second, I'm like, I really just want to focus on the Olympia and coming in better for that. So yeah, at the Arnold they measured me at 5'4 3/4. At the Olympia they measured me at 5'5.5.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really know what's going on, but we're just gonna shoot for that 180 spot and not worry about it being back and forth.
I think they measured everybody taller this year at the Olympia because I heard Chris Bumstead can be 240 now. You think he used to be?
Yeah, I don't understand it at all, man. I've been back and forth. I've been shorter like 3 shows, taller like 3 shows, and I don't know.
It's just
I think they should just do. Go ahead.
Leaner, that's all, right?
I think they should just measure us once and just hold that on, keep that in the records or something.
That's a question for Tyler if you're watching. Diesel's got a question for you.
Yeah. They should definitely do that high pro or like 174. It's just too much stress for us. Like it's already hard to have to make weight. But if you don't even know what weight you're trying to make, it just
I mean, they should at least give us an option, like to go somewhere, even if it's ridiculous. Like, oh, if you want to measure early, fly to Pittsburgh, we'll measure you.
Yeah.
I would fly to Pittsburgh for a day at the beginning of my prep just to know what I need to weigh. Yeah.
I would think once it's an official height, if they were gonna say if somebody ever competed at North Americans or something where it is the official A team, which is the same team that measures you at the Olympia, or if you're an IFBB pro, if you're at the Olympia, that's the same team. They should be the same equipment. That should then be what goes down in the books as your height, unless there's a drastic change, because we do know that there are times that people with age or with extreme differences in your weight fluctuations, that height can adjust, but usually it's a very small adjustment, and it's only if somebody's right on it.
It can change, I think. Once you turn pro, obviously you're gonna keep improving, so you're gonna keep getting bigger and heavier. You're not gonna get any lighter. So you shouldn't, even if you get older, you're like more like toward your 50s, and maybe you lose like a half an inch. You shouldn't be having to make less weight now.
I think so, too. Yeah, I agree.
We should really work on.
So maybe it's going to be called the Terrence Ruffin rule. Hey, if you get a phone call from Pittsburgh tomorrow, it ain't our fault. Okay? Terrence, look at what you started.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, so tell us the craziest thing that happened to you during this prep. Yeah, that story. That's the one we want.
I don't have anything really crazy, man. I'm trying to think. Yeah, nothing really crazy has happened this prep. Nothing really crazy happened this prep, honestly. Nothing I ever top my first Olympia. I'm flying to Vegas, and then I get like I get in no I get in the car, and then I get like this weird notification like Apple Pay or whatever happened, and then I start getting a whole bunch of charges or whatever. I don't know if they got some device or something that can steal stuff from your phone, but my debit card information, my credit card information got stolen, and then so I couldn't rent a car, I couldn't do anything. Luckily, Matt was there. You know, he lived in Vegas at the time, and then I started having some issues with my jaw, and I was like, oh, it's whatever, it should be fine. And then I woke up the day before the Olympia, and I couldn't even chew food. So I ended up having to go to the ER that evening, and he gave me, I can't remember what the drug was anymore, but he gave me muscle relaxers, and I think it's one of those V's. It's either Vicodin or Valium. Anyone who knows about drugs probably can tell me whichever one it was. But I had to carb up on like no, it was Vitargo and cream of rice through a straw for my first Olympia. So nothing ever topped that.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember backstage. Oh man, my brain. Derek Farnsworth. You know, he's a massage therapist. He worked. It hurt so bad. He massaged my jaw so I could at least not be crooked. My jaw be crooked on stage. But yeah, that was probably. I was high. I was in pain. It was not. It was a crazy show. So that was probably my crazy story. Nothing really crazy happened this prep though.
All right.
So, Terrence, how much are we going to see you around the country doing guest posing and speaking engagements? Because, man, I tell you, when we get to, we get to the luxury of traveling, covering shows a lot. And I can't tell you how many shows that we're at and backstage, there's some sort of conversation about you in some aspect or another. You really are becoming a huge fan favorite. And yes, it's mostly about your posing, but it's not just the posing. There seems to be a sentiment from NPC athletes that also see, again, you're not the biggest guy, but you have this really nice flow to your structure. You do this great presentation. You're always a nice guy. You never hear anything negative. So I think quietly, you're becoming one of these people that a lot of the guys that are coming up look up to, because you're not in the spotlight and you're not the hyped guy. We have that 1 and 2 battle. And sometimes people go, yeah, okay, well, that's great, but I'm sick of hearing about that. But wait, here.
Yeah.
I've experienced the last couple of years. So are you planning on doing more of that? Because I know that there's a lot of young guys out there that would love to see and hear more from you.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. So like people I respect most in the sport are some of the ones that travel the most. Sydney Gillon, figure Miss Olympia. She's at every single national show pro qualifier, and I respect her a lot for traveling that much. Brandon Curry, he's traveled a lot, and I think even though I'm not Miss Olympia, I think as an Olympia winner, you should be going around meeting the athletes, promoting the sport. And, obviously Breon and Chris, they've been the champs. They can do what they want. They've earned the title. They have the physique. But I honestly just think that's something Mr. Olympia should do, And even though I'm not there yet, I definitely plan on representing the sport the best I can. So, yeah, I definitely was just thinking about that today, too, trying to figure out when they're going to have all these shows and trying to talk to Sid about how she goes about, making arrangements and plans to get to each one. And, I have a couple of things even planned if COVID allows. I already planned some trips to France. My boy Hyson, He's I've been there before. So France, Italy, we had, and then he also planned London and Denmark is the tour we had over 2 weeks. If things open up and I can travel. But no, I love it, man. I love meeting fans. Like, again, I didn't see a lot of Olympians at the meet and greet that night, but I love going out there. Me and Logan Franklin was out. Me and him were like the last two people there, because even after it was over, you know, people still want to take pictures. They want to talk. And I've been there before where you meet a pro and they kind of brush you off, or you don't get a chance to speak. And I know that feeling. Yeah. So I don't want anyone to feel that way. You know, I'm tired. I do whatever. Like, even after the show, after I walk off stage, I go into the, you know, I walk into the lobby and everyone's out there. You know, my mom's started to understand. She came to watch. She, you know, I took time out to give her a hug and speak to her for a second. But, you know, we talked for maybe 5 minutes, and then she said, "All right, I'm going to bed. You do your thing." And I was out there for maybe like another hour just talking to people. So that's probably my favorite part of going to shows. I don't have any issues, you know, meeting and greeting people.
Well, good. You know what? After this, I'm gonna shoot you a call. We're gonna have you come out to the Milwaukee Pro and Titan Open this year. It looks like it'll be the last weekend of May. It was originally the first weekend of June, but the Toronto Pro, Omaha Pro are all the same date. So we're shifting 1 week. We'll have you come out. We've got 4 pro divisions, and Classic Physique is one of them. So love to have you come out, represent. We'll take care of all your accommodations. Maybe throw together a little routine for the fans. Whatever you want to do, but you're an absolute fantastic ambassador to sport, a great guy, a great athlete, and we'd love to have you out.
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Summertime there is a good time. It's right on the water. Believe me, you will enjoy that show and that trip.
All right, cool.
Places to eat, because all he's doing is eating now. He moved here to Chicago. He's gained about 60 pounds. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's a good thing, man. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So you said you're going to focus on the Olympia next year. That's going to be your next show. But you're finally qualified again. I think last year
so I was looking at that. Now, yeah. So technically, I'm not qualified. The way it works, I was looking at it. If Classic Physique has more than 25 shows, so only the winner is qualified. But I get points for placing second. So I went back and looked at, you know, last year, you know, Breon and Keon and George and all of those guys still qualified, even though they got 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and it's only about points. They just had enough points where no one kicked them out of that, you know, out of the running.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Technically, I'm not qualified, but unless everybody in Classic does, you know, 10 shows and everyone places top 5 at those 10 shows, that should be fine.
Yeah, you need like at least what? Is it top 5 qualifying points or?
I think so. I think the top 5. So yeah. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm pretty sure I should be fine.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, you would need 5 guys that just win like every shows to keep you up.
I know, right? so yeah, I'll keep an eye on it just to be safe. But I'm pretty sure just basing it off the last year's one, I should be fine.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, with your improvements from the Arnold to the Olympia, that you didn't think, you know, you said you didn't think you could change that much in that period of time, and with still another 8 pounds to go, and you talking about maybe wanting to be even tighter, so maybe you even got as much as 10 pounds to go.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a massive improvement to an already phenomenal physique. Is that starting to sink in though, that, hey, wait a minute, I'm this good and I can get that much better? There's not a lot of guys.
I've always thought that. I mean, I've been doing interviews forever. You say, I mean, even I've always been on the weight limit, and I always knew, like, the closer I got to, you know, to that, you know, to the limit, I knew I would do better. And I always say, I'm like, I was proven wrong because I used to say like, oh, those guys are at their limit. They can't improve at all. But you know, looking at guys like George at his last classic physique Olympia, looking at Breon, those guys still made good improvements with already being at that weight limit. But no, I'm definitely excited, and I've always been that way because I knew once I got to this point, I would do very well. And it's funny, I had no idea, I didn't know anything, but somehow when I first started competing, I was like, man, if I'm like 180, I thought I would turn pro at 180. I said, because I was thinking of old school guys, like I was really into Sean Ray and Flex Wheeler. You know, back then you turned pro and you were ready to go. So that was kind of my idea there. I was like, oh, I'll be competitive at 180. And now that I'm almost there, it's kind of like full circle. Like, oh, I was right about that.
Yeah. What's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, man. I don't have a favorite. I like a lot of superheroes. If I had to pick, let me just pick somebody from the movies. Let me pick. I like Iron Man. I probably like Iron Man the most. Yeah.
Okay.
I like Iron Man. I mean, I like Superman too. If I had to pick between Batman and Superman, I do not like Batman. I like Superman though. Everyone likes to give him shit.
Superman what is without his gimmicks and his money, man, and the utility belt.
Yeah.
Exactly. And have the stuff like they have all these fights with Batman and Superman, and Superman's supposed to be faster than the bullet, but somehow Batman still keeps up with him. It makes no sense.
No. All right. Why is it that most little kids like Spider-Man when we're kids, and later on we outgrow Spider-Man?
That's weird. Yeah, my Joe, his two kids, they both dressed up as Spider-Man for Halloween. That is weird. I don't know. I think because Spider-Man's a kid. Well, in most of the comics, he's a kid. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Superman all day for me, man.
Yeah.
Marvel comics or DC comics?
So comic book wise, I think DC does a way better job. Their comics, like I was looking at, actually I like The only reason I like Batman is because of all the villains in Batman. I don't like Batman, but I like all his villains. And they got this new comic called The Bat Who Laughs, where Batman kind of turns into the Joker, and it was crazy. It's a crazy comic.
Right. So you're big into comics?
Yes and no. So I don't read comics, but I'm on YouTube. They got this guy. He'll do overviews. So like I don't have to go out and buy it and read it. if I'm driving or something or I'm working, I just put it on, and he'll kind of give like a real quick overview of what's going on in like a comic book section. It's pretty cool.
That's that where you draw your like inspiration, like for you posing some of it or some poses, or
so I mean I kind of draw inspiration from posing from everything and everywhere. Like I've had some poses I got from like martial arts, some from like I do watch a lot of like breakdancing videos, so I always wanted to do it. I just was nervous, so I watched a lot of that. The guys out in California, they're like amazing. I would love to get like a session in with those guys, but I get a lot of it from them as well. A little bit, bits and pieces from, past bodybuilders. Like I saw Lee, he came down for the Tampa Pro to watch Hunter, and we watched some videos, and I told him I wanted to take this one transition he did, and he's like, yeah, do it. So
down like is that when he goes down?
He did like I've done that one before, yeah, but he did like a knee transfer where he went from, I really like, and I've done this twice now, where he's like doing like a kneeling pose, and then he'll switch from one knee to the other, and then now he's like posing from the rear.
Oh,
so it's really, really cool there. Yeah.
It's funny when you mentioned the inspiration of posers. You mentioned Bob Paris, Abuela, and Kai Green. Completely different era. Like you, you're not like stuck into the classic.
I mean, I give a lot of to Kai, man, because he was the first guy I saw. Like, No, I mean, so like the thing is, I don't think a lot of times you see guys, and I think this is why people like my posing so much. Like I see a lot of guys, they try to copy guys from the 80s or 70s, and I don't want to copy anyone. I want to create something unique. Like I go back and look at stuff I made, and I tried to copy Kai Green, and I'm like, oh, it's entertaining, but it's not. It doesn't look. It's definitely not Kai, and it just looks like an imitation. So I think with my posing, you see influences from everybody, but it's completely my own thing.
Yeah.
So here in Chicago, Terrence, I guess I'm gonna age myself a little. House music, when it first came out, house music was originated in Chicago way back when. And so then when breakdancing and pop locking and all that started happening, a lot of that came from the urban culture of, we literally used to throw a box out on a corner. People would say, this is no lie. I guess I am a little bit old. And
All right.
have guys on the side who used to break down beats, and then you'd have guys that were dancing, and all of a sudden, that's what was happening. I want to see Terrence Ruffin come out with a routine that goes back to some of the old school, between a combination of breakdancing, pop locking, and body.
Oh my God.
Together. Walkie Pro, and then that thing's gonna go viral, and then bring it to the Olympics next year, man. Something fresh and new and totally out of this world.
I mean, shoot. You know what I find interesting, real quick, like with Kai. I don't think a lot of people notice this, but he does. So if you notice, like his guest posings and his routines on stage are different. He does a lot more breakdancing in his guest posing spots as compared to like his routines for like actual competitions. And when he does actual competitions, it's a little bit more, it's a little slower, it's a little bit less pop locking and stuff like that. And no, I think about stuff. I think about all this stuff all the time, man. Like I do think like, oh, I kind of want to do something a little bit more, I guess, different, like you said, for like guest posings, and maybe kind of keep it a little bit more classy for the stage.
Are you working on different? Because I remember like that video you made with the movie Us. You made like a posing. I thought that was really dope.
Yeah.
At that time, you were also working with some museum photography thing. And are you still involved in all those type of things? Like, are you trying to develop that more? Trying to get the bodybuilding more?
Yeah, I definitely want to do more of that. I'm actually going to see Paul. We're going to be filming tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know what routine we're going to do. I'll probably spend all day there, and we'll probably film something like that again tomorrow. But yeah, man, the only issue I'm having, I got a lot of ideas, is just finding the right space here in Tampa to film a lot of different stuff. Because I want like a specific studio. I want it blacked out, and it's just kind of tough. Like all the dance studios here, like they have a few, but it's nothing like the ones I want. The ones I like, they're actually in California. All the really nice studios. So just trying to figure that out.
Terrence, come on, it's Tampa. We know who runs Tampa. It's Tim Gardner. Get Tim on the phone. If Tim Gardner wanted to run for mayor of Tampa, he'd be the mayor. So go ahead and give our buddy Tim a call, and he'll get you into whatever space you need to. We know he's got crazy pull down there.
Okay. No, okay. I didn't know that. I know Tim, and Tim's an awesome guy. I just didn't know he had pull like that. Yeah.
He literally could be mayor of Tampa if he wanted to. He just doesn't really talk about it. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give him a call. I was actually going to talk to him about just making sure to hit me up when they have like seminars and stuff like that in Florida. So yeah, I mentioned that to him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he'll get you squared away. It's interesting because we remember was it 2 years ago or something? America's Got Talent, and they had Tricky Jackson was on there.
Yeah.
And I said, man, can you imagine Terrence now taking your bodybuilding expertise and your style and your grace I think you translate to mainstream better than anybody in our sport. I really do.
Because of the entertaining part.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's so entertaining. At the end of the day, sports are entertainment, right?
Mm.
We all like quarterback because he knocks out a 2-minute drill, takes his team 80 yards, scores a touchdown. We all celebrate. That's entertainment.
Mm.
You know, you see a defensive team stop somebody. Maybe you like defense. It's still entertainment. You are the most entertaining bodybuilder in the industry today. You know, just like people love Rami, you know, you go to the circus to see the freak, right? Rami's a
Yeah.
but from just a pure entertainment standpoint, it's you and it stops with you. We'd love to see more of it all over because it's just better for our sport. The more mainstream you, the better it is for all of us.
You know, I had planned on actually going on that show this year, but everything that happened, I had to, cancel it. I had planned that, and I also had planned on doing some events with this art production company. It's called Raw Artists. They have events all over the country, actually all over the world. And yeah, it all got kind of put on hold because of COVID. But no, I had a lot of cool stuff planned, especially I got invited to the Rock show, and I was like, man, if I could do a routine there, they put on something awesome, that'll be a really good spot for bodybuilding, So
just bring the first one to the Milwaukee Pro first, man. All right, just before you take it worldwide.
You gotta plug this computer.
Bring it to the Milwaukee Pro this summer just to try it out, and then you can take it.
Okay. No, because I mean, like I said, I have a lot of ideas, and I had that idea that we did with that horror movie like years ago. I wasn't ready to do it quite, just posing wise, and two, I just couldn't find anyone to do it. I even got I got some ideas. Like I really want to make my routines more of a production. Like, I mean, I'm just waiting for it to get the right people to help me kind of make it happen. And some of the stuff I want to do, I feel like it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Good. We really look forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Terrence, anybody out there that you want to say thank you to, besides the people that you've already kind of touched on and mentioned? We all have somebody in our past that really put a major imprint on us that helps us become who we are today as athletes. So is there one or two people from your past that you don't get to talk about very often that you'd like to kind of give kudos to here now?
Okay, that's a unique question. Yeah.
That's what I'm here
for. So, I like it. No, I would like to give credit to my friend Caleb Weatherington. He was the coach that turned me pro. Amazing individual. I was on the phone with him maybe 2 days ago. And a lot of times where you have guys, they turn someone pro and all they want to do is they want you to do well, but they also want to be there, as well. After I turned pro, he sat down and talked to me, and he was like, "Hey man, like, we did a great job, but I think you need to find someone a little bit more knowledgeable, so if anyone hits you up, don't feel bad, if you want to find someone else." And he's doing well now. He's got a family, he's got kids, he's got a business he's running. He's kind of semi-retired from bodybuilding, but I just wanted to give him a shout out for helping me to get to where I am.
It's really respectful. Like,
yeah.
I have a good friend of mine like that. They him and his coach, I know both of them. They worked together for a long time, and he turned him pro, and he was like, well, I took you so far, but I think now you need somebody that, next level to get you to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, to be able to do that, it speaks volumes. I think a lot of times it speaks volumes of not only that person but the athlete as well, because you tend to find yourself surrounding yourself with other people that are more like you. So that speaks volumes of him and yourself, that you guys had that type of a relationship to communicate and for him to make that sacrifice. So that's special.
Yeah. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Terrence, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Appreciate everything you do. Appreciate always entertaining us. Appreciate you being on. Look forward to seeing this year. Look forward to seeing the new and improved Terrence, and we really look forward to seeing you out here in May. Believe me, we'll make sure that it's a good time. It's in Milwaukee, so Milwaukee in the summer is fun. We'll be on the lake after. Be sure you don't fly home till Monday. I'll have something special set up for us all on Sunday. Harley Davidson Museum is right around the corner. The lakefront is right there. And there's a casino right there too. So
oh God. Oh man. No.
overload for that weekend.
Yeah.
A really good time. And I hope you can make it.
Okay. No, yeah, definitely. I'll be looking out for that email or that text from you guys to come out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you, Terrence, for joining us today and giving us some time. It was great having you for our second episode of Under the Scope. We wish you the best for next year. We're just looking forward to see more of you and all the things you're getting involved to. It's really exciting. So we'll be following to that. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. I didn't know this was the second episode. That's pretty awesome. I appreciate you guys for having me so early.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You definitely were the guy. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here, joining us on Under the Scope. Co-host Mandis Buckle and Maxim Muscle Report, coming to you from Chicago, Illinois, with the most entertaining IFBB pro on the circuit today, the one and only Rough Diesel. Until next time, guys, we hope you were entertained.